What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic, bringing you another draft analysis for this time BBL season number 9. The Bandless Battlers League is back, and we're here for revenge. This is our revenge tour. We lost in the finals last season to Owen in a game that I honestly did not play very well, but kudos to him. He ended up becoming the champion of the league, and fingers crossed we can actually perform honestly close to as well as we did last season. We played it very, very well, and I'm hoping that we can continue that this time around. We had the 9th pick in the draft, and also, by the way, if you guys just came over from the draft stream, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for supporting the draft stream, of course, and of course, leave a like on the video. And if you did come in from the draft stream, make sure to comment down below chocolate cake. I've been watching Cake Boss with Julia, and for some reason, chocolate cake is on the mind right now. But let's go ahead and jump into the draft analysis and what we drafted this season. Now, our team, we had the 9th pick overall. I was really hoping to get MattOshea because I'm like, you know what, MattOshea could fall. You never know. Very unlikely. Lunala, same thing. But the issue is we made a couple of changes to the season that meant that Lunala wasn't the best thing I could have taken. And at the same time, I'm like, Magirna, that is my number 1. All of them except for Lunala go. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get something I have never gotten before. I've used Lunala in the past, and I think that I can make a pairing, an Uber pairing, better than Lunala plus something else with Zekrom plus something else. And the way we decided to handle things this season was that we could do Uber pairs that were 42 points combined. So any two combination of Pokemon could not equal more than 42 points. And that's why we have our Zekrom here. Zekrom is fantastic. It is honestly one of the best sweepers in the game. It also is an incredible breaker with moves like Bolt Strike and Outrage, Dragon Claw, Magnet Rise to get above ground moves, Roost for recovery, Dragon Dance in general, just a very strong Pokemon and can threaten a lot of different teams. Dragon is a fantastic type in the Uber's format, and with Bolt Strike and the electric typing in general, it really makes it hard for opponents to handle teams effectively. And if we have answers to ground types, then this Pokemon becomes even better. Of course, there's answers to it in like Volt Absorb users or Lightning Rod Pokemon, but in general, this Pokemon is still so fantastic. Insanely strong, 150 base attack is ridiculous, and for the 24 points that we have for it, I am not mad at it at all. It is very, very exciting to see what we can do with the Zekrom on our team this season. I've never used it. Hopefully it does well. It is one of our 3 defoggers this season, so hopefully we don't have to bring defog Zekrom like Kurt had to do a couple of times, but fingers crossed for that. Our next mon, unfortunately, there were 4 Pokemon in the 18-point tier that we're able to take to pair with the Zekrom. It was like Urshifu Single Strike, it was like Dragapult, it was Libero Cinderace, and it was Landorus Eye. And unfortunately, well, number 1, I'm not going for Dragapult. I got it last season, and at the same time, I had it a lot lately, and it doesn't fit well with the Zekrom. But then I'm like, you know what? I really want Urshifu Single Strike, or I really want Libero Cinderace. Both of them go. I'm like, well, the only other Uber I can get that's an Uber is going to be Landorus Eye, so we pick up Landorus Eye here. Now, Sheer Force Lando Eye is fantastic. It's really strong. I'm using regular Landorus Theory, and of course, this season in pack, which you guys should have seen the semifinal battle go up, or quarterfinal battle go up yesterday. So make sure to go back and check that one out. And this Pokemon is solid because it is a Pokemon that, yes, while it is weak to Ice, just like Zekrom is, it forces so many switches. Sheer Force Lando Eye with the Life Orb, going for Earth Powers, Sludge Waves, Rock Slides is so damn strong. It has knockoff support for me. It is a ground immunity for the Zekrom, which is really huge, and it puts a lot of pressure on opposing teams. On top of that, at the speed tier it has a base 101, it outspeeds a lot of threats. Yveltal, Xerneas, Palkia even, just these Pokemon, we outspeed it, we can threaten them out with the powerful moves, and then be in a really good position with our Zekrom later on. And on top of that, it gets momentum, just like Zekrom does. We have a really powerful Volturn core going on here with these 2 Pokemon. I'm hoping that this team can come together and just be a really good Volturning team to be able to pressure with Zekrom in the late game or break with it early in the early game. So yeah, in general, solid Pokemon, 101 base speed with a 90 base speed Pokemon fits really solidly together, and it is my second of 3 defoggers. Our next one is going to be a Pokemon that I need to have on this team to be able to absorb ice attacks, and that's going to be Slowbro. Slowbro is amazing with Regenerator. It has Teleport for slow momentum, which is amazing. It can take multiple attacks, even like super effective attacks. I can take Dark Pulses or Shadow Balls from like Pokemon that are getting the stab from it. But, and this is important, but as I hiccup, but this Pokemon has very little offensive pressure in a format like this. In Ubers, it doesn't have that kind of pressure like something like a Galar Slowking would, but it's still a very strong Pokemon nonetheless. Recovery and Slack Off is nice. Support with Thunder Wave or Toxic is amazing. Trick Room is a decent option. It's okay for my team. It's not great, but it's okay for my team. But the main thing I wanted it for is I need it as a pivot to be able to get into Pokemon like Zekrom or Lando Eye. It also is an Ice Resist, which is so important. But right now, Freeze Dry kind of ruins my team. It destroys my team. So we need to have a Pokemon that pairs even better with Slowbro than Slowbro does with these other Pokemon, and that's going to be Incineroar. Incineroar serves 2 purposes. Number 1, it's my Freeze Dry answer. That's one of them. Number 2, it is my Dark type. We allowed Lunala, we allowed Mewtwo, and we allowed Yveltal. So those 3 Pokemon in standard BBL would be banned. They would be banned, but they're not. So now we picked up Incineroar. Liv was saying like, Matt, you gotta go against Zarude. Zarude's fantastic. Zarude to me is ass. It's terrible. Incineroar, it's not much better, but it's still better. And the dark types in the format are either going to be really insane ones, really mid ones, like this one here, or really shit ones, like something like, I don't know, a Skuntank or whatever. Okay? That's like the options that we have. So I'm hoping that Incineroar, with its U-turn, Parting Shot, Willow support, knockoff support, again, momentum, intimidate, it can be really useful for a team. I have a couple of defoggers, which is nice. I have momentum. Boots is a very common item to see on this, but I think leftovers are going to be very strong on this Pokemon as well as maybe a Shucka Berry to take a random Earthquake from something that has just coverage options. It is a solid Pokemon overall. The speed tier is decent at base 60, but I have a pretty big gap right now between 60 and 90, where my Zekrom and my Incineroar kind of meet. So hopefully we can do well with the Incineroar. Last time we actually had it, it was in pack, and we just dropped it to pick up some other Pokemon to make our team a bit better in certain matchups. But I was having a lot of fun using the Incineroar. Just, it's really pressured, and I think in this league, we're going to see it pressured a little bit less. Our next mon, I said, you know what? Before all this happened, before I picked up Slowbro, before I picked up Incineroar, I'm like, you know what? I really want Terrakion. And I'm like, if I can get all 3 Slowbro, Terrakion, Incineroar, I'll be in a really good spot. And I'm like, I'm not going to get it. It's not going to happen. But you know what? I got it. I got Terrakion. Now, obviously, I use Rock Blast Terrakion. I use Sash Leaf Terrakion a lot. And it's still a really good Pokemon. In terms of what it does for a team, it provides a fast rocker, it provides an amazing physical breaker, it provides me a speed tier higher than the Lando Eye, and it forces in ground types. And because the main thing is, ground types resist the rock moves, not much resists rock moves in general, and the Pokemon that do resist rock, something like steel types, get destroyed by close combat. So in general, it's a solid Pokemon to have here to be able to force in rocks, or grounds rather, and break them so that Zekrom can have a field day going forward. On top of that, it gets access to Earthquake and close combat to deal with steel types, whether they're flying or not. And that's also really big if I want to go with a Dragon Dance Dragon move sweep with Zekrom instead of a Dragon move Electric move sweep with Zekrom. Very strong Pokemon here. It is my second rocker. It is mostly my dedicated rocker compared to Lando Eye. And honestly, I really like the offensive rockers in the Ubers tier. This Pokemon breaks really, really well. And at 14 points, I'm super happy with the pickup here because honestly, it's just really solid. For 14 points, I will definitely take it. Very happy with this Pokemon, but it still doesn't address my speeds here. And you know what? I'm still not going to address it. I'm picking up Frostlass next. Frostlass at 6 points is criminal. And yes, I made the tiers. I made the tiers with Liv and Owen, and you know what? Frostlass is at 6 points, and it's decent. In a format like this, where there are so many fast Pokemon that are hit super effectively by Ghost moves because they're Psychics or Psychics or Ghosts rather, or Dragon type Pokemon that are hit super effectively by Ice moves, Frostlass is fantastic. On top of that, Speed tier 110, amazing. Spike support, amazing. Destiny Bond, kind of niche, but could be pretty useful. Priority Ice Shard is amazing. It's a fighting immunity, which could be, you know, kind of important a little bit. But the main thing as well, it has Will-O-Wisp, Thunderwave, and it has access to Toxic. I'm pretty sure it has Thunderwave. Pretty sure it has Thunderwave, but it has Will-O-Wisp as well. In general, it's a good support Pokemon. Gives me the ability to set up spikes, and that way when I'm pivoting around with my top 4 there, it's going to be really strong. And a fastest Pokemon of Frostlass isn't bad at all. It's just super solid overall. So fingers crossed that we can do well with the Frostlass and just put pressure on our opponent's teams. Our next mon is going to be our Jirachi here. Now, Jirachi is my Xerneas answer. Yeah, we are doubling up on Psychic types, which is not great considering that Ghost types and Dark types kind of run the format, but Psychic types are also really strong, and Slowbro and Jirachi can take those hits. At the same time, they both get momentum, they both get access to different things. Slowbro is able to teleport around and just be really fat and annoying. Jirachi can wish things up, it can go for Healing Wish to get back into Zekrom or Lander so I can sweep a second time. It gets access to Rock, it gets access to U-turn support, it gets access to a ton of different coverage options. In general, it's really strong, and offensively, it is probably the best Steel type that was left on the board. And that's good because Fairy types are a bit of a problem for my team because my Fire type is neutral to Fairy types. So having Jirachi here is really nice. And it also, I forgot to mention, it heals up Incineroar with Wish, which is amazing. Yes, they're both weak to ground, but I have a couple of really solid ground answers on my team, including my next pick, which I'm really excited about. Now, my next pick, I'm like, you know what? At this point, same situation with Slowbro, Incineroar, Terrakion. I want those 3 Pokemon. I want to get Frostlass, Jirachi, Tapu Bulu with my next 3 Pokemon. And I'm like, you know what? Everyone has a Fairy type or a Grass type already. No one's going to take Bulu, so I can go ahead and get Frostlass. I can go ahead and get Jirachi. And then you know what happens? Pat takes Bulu. Why? I don't know why he took Tapu Bulu. He had a Fairy type already, but he did. No, did he have a Fairy type? He had a Fairy type already. Why did he take Bulu? I don't know, but he did. So I'm like, Pat, do you want to trade him? You don't have a grounded poison type. Do you want to trade Amoonguss for Bulu? And he's like, sure. So we got Tapu Bulu. Yes, we finally got this thing on our team after the debacle. That was, I think, season 3 or season 4 of BBL, which we had Primal Groudon, and our second best Pokemon was Tapu Bulu, which in general is a decent pairing, but it didn't work out for us so well, partly because Primal Groudon was 40 points out of our 110 point budget, and Bulu was, I think, 14 or 16 points, but now it's 12 points. 12 points is not bad at all. We have answers to poison types, we have answers to fire types, we have answers to any type, flying types, even with our Jirachi, which is huge, and our Zekrom, I guess. This Pokemon is really nice and provides me support with grassy terrain, because right now, my team is so weak to Earthquake. Like, Zekrom, Slowbro doesn't appreciate taking many Earthquakes. It can take 2 of them, but not 3 of them. And if it's already taken Chip, it's hard to switch in. Incineroar, weak to it. Terrakion, weak to it. Frostlass, Frail, Jirachi, weak to it. Just not the best answers to it. So I want to have access to this Pokemon. But on top of that, in this format, Liv was kind of selling me on it. It's an amazing Scarfer. Having Scarf Woodhammer or Hornleech or Superpower or whatever to break through opposing grounds, opposing steel types, whatever, is very powerful in a Pokemon like this. And having the support with grassy terrain is nice for my Zekrom, for my Incineroar to get the passive recovery that they really wouldn't get otherwise outside of like leftovers or Roost in Zekrom's case. But in general, super solid Pokemon. Really excited to use it in this team where it's not forced to do so much and have so many different roles like it did in the previous time I used it. So hopefully it goes well. You know, fingers crossed that it does its thing. I'm not super that big of a fan of Bulu, but in general, it's a solid Pokemon. Now at this point, I have like, I don't know, 20 points left, something around that range. We had 130 points as our budget, and honestly, I'm just going off the top of my head, it was around that range. But we've used a lot of the budget, and we've used what? This is 7 Pokemon. These 7 Pokemon, 7 or 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Pokemon. Now, these 8 Pokemon, they're going to come to like 90% of the battles. Maybe there's 2 battles that I don't bring 2 of these Pokemon. And in that case, I want to have a few things. I want to have number 1, a grounded poison. So I talked shit about it before, but we are running indeed the Skuntank. Now Skuntank is my grounded poison type, and the reason I want it over other grounded poisons, like Vileplume potentially, or like Garbodor, because I have the speed tier that Garbodor provides me. I have Spike support already with the Frostlass, so I don't need it there. I also didn't want Vileplume because I don't want to get another fire weakness, and I felt like having a Pokemon that was a dark type, another dark type, was really good, especially because this one has Sucker Punch, which is huge for priority against something like a Mewtwo that's setting up, or has already set up rather, or is scarfed or whatever. Helps against Lunala that is scarfed. In general, Sucker Punch is really good in a format like this. It has Corrosive Gas for like knockoff. It has access to decent coverage moves, Dark, Poison, and then Fire moves, of course, and it has access to the ability to absorb Toxic Spikes. Now, obviously, I don't get access to T-Spikes on this team. I don't have that, which really does suck, but I don't think I need them. It's nice to have, but I don't think my team is going to benefit as much from T-Spikes as another team would. So I'm going to be rocking with the Skuntank here. It's not going to come to many games, but when it does come, it's going to have a pretty good matchup. Our next mon is going to be our Quagsire. Quagsire is a Pokemon that I've been drafting a lot lately. Yeah, it's been coming to my teams a lot, but the reason for it is because it's so dirt cheap, and in Uber specifically, it has such a good niche in the tier. Now, the leagues I've drafted, what is this called? Quagsire in, it's been Uber's leagues. Leagues like the UPBA, which Ubers were allowed in. BBL last season, which Ubers were allowed in. This is my secondary ground type. It's not my primary like it was last season, which I think might have been my downfall and kind of forced me to bring it a couple of times, but it is a secondary ground type. And it also helps out a lot because it's not weak to the same things that Landorus is weak to. Yes, they're 4 times weak to Freeze Dry, but this Pokemon is not weak to Ice. Lando is 4 times weak to Ice. This Pokemon is 4 times weak to Grass. Lando is not weak to Grass. So they pair very well together in that regard. Unaware is huge. Water Absorb is amazing. It's just a solid Pokemon that can stall things overall. And for 4 points, it's just a Pokemon that's really niche that can come to a couple of games, maybe 2-3 games a season, and be really solid for me. Our next mon is going to be Porygon. Now, Porygon for 2 points is solid. We bumped that from 1 to 2 because it's getting a lot more traction as a decent answer to Dragapult, which is great, but it also helps me out with Ghost types because, yes, I have 2 Dark types, but I want to have a little extra, like a normal type, with Teleport, with access to moves like Recover to just be annoying. And this Pokemon does that. It is a pivot, it forces Knockoff, and it forces Taunt as well, because if my opponent does not go for Taunt, then I can go for a Teleport and just get out and go into whatever I need to do, which is awesome. Solid Pokemon overall. And then our final mon. Somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I got sniped at Meowstic. Amel took it. He had like 19 points left, and he took Meowstic for 2 points. I don't know why, but that forced me to go ahead and say, you know what? Fuck it. Noctowl. It's 2 points. Tinted Lens, Hurricanes, and Hyper Voice hits pretty hard. It's got Roost, it's got U-Turn. That's just really all it is. It's another ground immunity. It's not going to come. If it comes 1 week, maybe it's a meme. Maybe it's like, oh my god, Noctowl. Flying moves go in, and I don't have a flying move on Landorus. I'll just go with Noctowl. I'm a little concerned about Noctowl as a Pokemon. but it's 2 points. Didn't really need it. We used our full budget. We used the maximum 12 points, 12 Pokemon rather, on our team. And I'm hoping that we can actually go for a title this season. Guys, let me know which Pokemon you think is the most exciting Pokemon to see me use this season. Which Pokemon you've had the most fun using in your history of Draft League or competitive Pokemon in general. I am super excited for this team. We have week 1 going up next week, well, 1 week from today, against Joe Flaming and his Talonmaster J now, and his Atlanta Talonflames. I'm really excited, but that is going to be an Yveltal matchup, which is terrifying. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment chocolate cake down below if you made it this far, and I will see you all next time.